Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of O.A.F Discussions. I am Kid Swift,
This is the Che Hey Kid here.
and with us again is Gwendar, aka, yeah, we'll just call him Gwendar. No government name.
Gwendar.
I can't pronounce my last name anyways, so
Right. But yeah, we are back after a good old Thanksgiving break of ours. We took the holiday week off. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving, ate a bunch of food and
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
Happy Thanksgiving and all that jazz.
Yeah, but the thing is always that about us taking off anytime, especially if it's a week, 2 weeks, whatever, is shit goes crazy when we have any time away from the show. So as you guys might know already by the time you're watching this, you probably watched the Star Wars teaser 15 times. You've probably read the Suicide Squad articles 15 times. You've probably been playing every game that has came out in the past few weeks, the 150 games that have came out in the past few weeks. But yeah, so we just wanted to go in. We're going to start I think what we're going to do, we're going to start with Suicide Squad. We'll start with the Suicide Squad casting stuff. We'll work our way through, and then we're going to go ape shit on Star Wars for like probably an hour. So the rest of it will just be like, yep, and straight to the point. But yeah, first and foremost, if you guys didn't know this, the Suicide Squad cast got released finally. Everybody's accounted for, except for a couple.
Yeah, it looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, but man, so the Suicide Squad, of course, if you guys don't know, DC Comics, one of the more interesting groups of bad guys, pretty much, as far as the members of the Suicide Squad. But you've got Jared Leto, I always mess his name up, is going to play Joker. Margaret Robbie, if I'm saying that right, she's going to play Harley Quinn. You have Tom Hardy, who's going to play Rick Flag. You have Will Smith, who's going to play Deadshot. And then you have, who else? I think I'm missing something. Nope.
Possibly Oprah, remember?
Yeah, possibly Oprah. Now that's the kind of thing I was going to get to. And me and Clay were talking about this before we even started recording, but I don't know. I mean, it could possibly work. She could play that basically that role from the cartoon that everybody probably is more familiar with.
She looks just like her.
She would have to cut her hair probably, but she probably wouldn't do that. She would charge like $1 million.
You're like, you have to, this role needs to be made around me.
Right, yeah. It's going to be Oprah and the Suicide Squad. That'll literally what it'll end up being.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see if that whole Suicide Squad, how it's going to end up. The fact that they have such a high-profile cast, I never thought I would see those level of actors within this movie when they first announced it.
You know, they brought in the ringer,
Yeah, like
Will Smith.
Yeah, I mean that's automatic. You know you're spending $150 million off that.
Yeah.
Like without a doubt. So I mean, how did you even have enough money for the rest?
Right.
And I know Tom Hardy draws a heavy salary now too.
Jared Leto's not cheap.
Yeah, right. And that, I think, casting wise, like, what do you guys think as far as like those characters in those roles? Like, do you think that's good? Do you think
I'm going to say, I'd say we get into the Joker first.
Yeah.
I love Jared Leto. I think he's a great actor. I've been watching him since My So-Called Life back in the day.
Wednesday.
Yeah, and that was a lot. Yeah, My So-Called Life. It was, and I've been watching him since then. And then, what was the big drug movie, the heroin movie that he did with the one of the Wayans brothers? No. It was the one about where he cuts his arm off and shit.
oh yeah, that's
God, what is that movie called? I'll think of it in a second.
He
But
said where he cut his arm off.
that it was actually on not too long ago too. But yeah, he's just a really good actor, man. When the dude gets it done, and he's kind of, I mean, you're replacing Heath Ledger in a sense. So
Big thing.
yeah, it's a big shoes to fill. But I mean, he has that kind of personality that he can go off. You know, I think he can go off and be, it's going to be weird. It's going to be different at first, and a lot of people probably aren't going to like it because they're going to be like, oh, well, he's trying to be like the Joker. You know how people are going to be. You're going to have a lot of haters out there that are be whatever. But I think he's going to make it his own, and it's going to be something to watch. I'm definitely going to go see it. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that's gonna be the biggest thing I'm gonna like is when we finally get to see him in the costume, like delivering lines. That's when everybody will kind of make that final judgment of or
Right.
Like,
how's his voice gonna sound?
Yeah. That was what I was
mannerisms. How's he gonna move?
That was my biggest thing about like even about Margaret Robbie playing Harley Quinn is I was like, how are they is she gonna be able to pull off that? Hey, Mr. J, like, is she gonna pull that off for 2 hours? Is she gonna be that Harley Quinn that everybody knows Is she gonna play that role, that type of role? Are they gonna go? They could completely go in a different direction
Yeah.
and make them like a little bit drier, not
Yeah.
as eccentric, and make them a little bit more, not really toned down, but a little bit more realistic.
Yeah.
And she could just be like a crazy, like kind of
Yeah.
like, just you see these like flashes of insanity,
Yeah.
like out of her. And the same thing could be chose for Jared Leto, but I feel like Jared Leto could pull off that.
Yeah.
consistently out of his mind.
Yeah,
kinda
that
thing.
consistently, for 2.5 hours.
That's like
he
I
could do
told
that.
you earlier. I feel like that's what Jared has always been good at. Is those kind of like mentally ill type of things. Like from what I've always seen, he always had those down pretty.
Yeah,
well.
he's
So
believable.
I think he could do it. If he can do it as well as Heath did, that I'm not sure about, because I thought that was perfect.
Yeah, that was.
His the way he carried himself about it and everything. It was perfect.
Yeah, he was.
It'd be different.
So,
Yeah.
It'd be different.
And that's gonna be that was the biggest thing with everybody had something, and it could be the same thing. It could be everybody had something to compare it to, and they were like, how are they gonna do it? Everybody had Mark Hamill to compare Heath Ledger to, and they were like, but how is Heath's performance gonna come out? And it was completely fucking different. But in the same way, it captured the way the Joker's supposed to be as far as like his insanity, but it was still very different. And
Are you talking about Jack Nicholson?
Huh?
Is that you?
No, I'm talking about Mark Hamill.
Oh.
Well, you know he voiced the Joker, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Dude, God. Okay.
What?
Times, man.
First and foremost, yeah, you know who Mark Hamill is.
Oh,
first of all.
yeah.
Okay, Mark Hamill is like that. Almost might if there wasn't Star Wars,
Uh-huh.
and to most people he might even be more well known for his role as the Joker. He's
Wow.
played the Joker's voice for decades, as far as like on the cartoons, every game that's came out.
And now it makes
That's
sense.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah.
And when you see him pull it off live, it's the craziest shit you've ever seen in your life. Like he can flip his voice like that
Really?
and just go into the Joker, and it's insane.
Wow.
And yeah, that's Mark Hamill. That's like if there was no Star Wars, he would be fine, because that after Star Wars,
Yeah.
he started doing that and hasn't looked back. He just now stopped.
Yeah.
Just now stopped doing
Wow.
doing the Joker with the last Arkham game.
Wow.
That was when he stopped. But yeah, he's been the voice of the Joker for literally decades, and he's killed it. And that was the big thing. Everybody was like, "How is Heath Ledger gonna sound compared to Mark Hamill's?" Mark Hamill's is the Joker that we've been listening to. That's the one we grew up on as far as the cartoons. That's like what we've heard.
Right.
So when he did his version, a lot less like of that high pitch kind of shit.
Uh-huh.
Like as far as consistently, and obviously that laugh still matched perfectly.
Yeah.
But dude, man, God, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's gonna be the interesting thing. Interesting thing is like, can Jared Leto? Because we want him to do his own Joker. We
Yeah.
don't want him to do. We don't want Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah, you don't
back.
want him
We
to
want
act
Heath
like
Ledger's
to act
Joker
like
back.
somebody else. Yeah.
We don't want. Yeah, we don't want him to be like trying to mimic.
And I think he will. He's an actor.
Yeah, I think.
You know what I mean? That's what he does.
Yeah, I think he can figure it out. And with the rest of that cast, like Tom Hardy,
Yeah.
like he's one of my favorite actors, and I think he can pull off that role just as Rick Flag is kind of like the leader of the Suicide Squad. Awesome. But the thing that I think is going to be weird is seeing Will Smith as Deadshot.
Yeah.
Now, I thought he was going to play Bronze Tiger just because obviously Bronze Tiger is the black
Right.
character in the Suicide Squad. They don't even have Bronze Tiger cast yet, or even, I don't even know if they're even going to use him, which is kind
Right.
of weird. But Deadshot is obviously a huge character in Suicide Squad, but Will Smith, I think, could pull off that kind of like, because he's kind of crazy, but there's like these hints of, I guess you could say, normal within Deadshot. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see
Yeah.
what happens. It's gonna be interesting to see this develop over the next.
I believe in Will
years.
Smith. I think he can. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
he can pull it off.
Yeah,
it'll
yeah.
be interesting. When's this coming out? Actually, though,
This
too.
is 2016 fall.
Jeez.
Wait,
Golly.
Batman vs. No, I'm sorry. It's 2017.
Dang.
That made it better.
Yeah, no,
Man.
Because what's happening is
Well,
it's
I
starting to
know
get to
with
year.
all the
Yeah.
other 20 things coming out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because you've got Batman versus Superman in 2016, and then in 2017 you've got Suicide
Okay.
Squad.
All right,
we're
well, that
gonna
makes
It's
sense.
basically gonna be something every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it could work out good.
Yeah.
Because then you're gonna go back, and then you're gonna go back into like Wonder Woman and all that stuff. Too,
Yeah.
So. Yeah. So I mean, we'll see what happens with Suicide Squad. We're definitely gonna keep our eyes on that.
I'm interested in this
Yeah.
DC universe. I think this is
Man.
things are really coming about now.
Yeah, between that and Marvel, it's just like a war to see who can
Yeah.
outshine each other, out schedule each other. I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Basically.